Hi guys, in YouTube land, welcome here. If you're new here, I'm John and it's Frickin' Jeep. And the reason it's Frick is because these are Frick sawmills. What I'm about to make is something that people have been asking me to make for maybe close to 10 years. As long as I've been on YouTube, I think people have asked me. And because of my limited talents in editing, I don't know how to do it. I've never made it because I just didn't know how to make it. But then I was watching Wayne over at Wayne's World's Garage working on their sawmill over there and go, oh my gosh, you need to get this thing fixed. It's not really a fix, it's an upgrade. And I'm going to go from this mill to the big red mill, then up to the shop and try to get it all in a half hour because I don't know how to cut this out and cut that out, and that was some of my problems. So we're going to get right into it. This is an upgrade. If you watch me work this handle, which let me put it here. When I let go of that handle, okay, you watch down in this area here, it goes right to neutral, okay, with a little bit of nothing. And it's something I did years ago. And so I'm going to try to show you how I did it, which is where some of the problem is. What I did, I'll show you when we go up the shop what the original is. I got an old spring off a Jeep and put the spring on here, cut a square hole in here, and put a, I don't know what kind of bolt that is. Somebody will correct me and tell me. So this thing can pivot. You'll watch it now. I'm going to try to get this as steady as I can so you can watch that pivot. Get this down further here. See how it pivots? It's got to be able to pivot some because the casting on this piece here is so bad, okay, that it's got to pivot. Now my original one, you can't tell, that's just a piece of pipe in there and I don't know what I filled it up with. It's just no idea. This has got a lock nut on it here so it can stay loose so this thing can pivot. I have no up down play in it, which that's one thing the red mill has, up and down play in it. I don't like it. I don't have my cotter pin in here, and I don't have the cotter pin in here because we went to a show and they needed a handle, and so I just grabbed this off real quick and forgot to put it back on, so don't get me on this. Now when this thing is set up right, there's 3 different locations here to have your handle, and when it's in, you put it any way you want it, to be honest with you. If it's in right, this handle will be up and down. That should be neutral, up and down. I guess you can't see that. And these two here are supposed to be level from everything that I understand. So this is what we're going to try to show you how to make, is this thing here, so you go back to neutral. And that shows you how off that casting is. You can see it. Maybe you can see it better this way. I hope that you can see it. Whoops. I'm wiggling so much. Anyhow, now because of the lack of editing, we're going to run up to the red mill and show you the same thing. Now, made that for, I don't know, 4 or 5 different other mills. And everybody that I make it for says, man, that's the best thing in the world. Might not be for you. I don't, you know, I look at a lot of mills on YouTube, and you'll see an awful lot of them with springs and pulleys and wires and all sorts of goofy stuff on there because the frick thing just didn't work that well. And it was good for the time they made it. You figure that mill that you just looked at is about a 1929 mill. And nowadays mills don't even have handles like that. They have what Mark up at Bus Motor Production, Mark Galici, go up there. He works from a booth and doesn't have anything like that anywhere around there. I'm trying to speed this up so I can get everything in on time. Now back when I made this first one, I'm hoping that you can hear me over the engine noise and rattles and all that kind of stuff. I didn't have any kind of sophisticated tools. I had a drill press and a grinder, and that was about the size of what I had. And so that's when I made that one in the back, and just like I didn't even have any round stock, didn't even know anything about that kind of stuff 35 years ago, but I knew that was a lot better than what was there. Okay, Now we're looking at this mill, and where I made a mistake on this mill, on this one here, and I'll probably fix it now that I have better, because this was probably made, this is before I had a lathe or any of that kind of stuff. But you can see the piece of metal there. You can see the bolt here with a cotter pin in it, but this has too much play up and down. Here's another bolt back here, and I just drilled a hole, didn't have a castle nut, drilled a hole in it. Here's the Jeep spring. Here's the original. If you see that color there is the original spring, and sometimes they get sawdust down in there, and you have to clear that out. See that? But also another thing, if you look, I'm trying to get you. I can't get it. Camera won't. Okay. See the gap right here? Okay. This thing here, you need a little gap there for that kind of bolt. I don't know what that bolt name is, but you can see this one goes right back to neutral too. Okay, every time I let go, it goes to neutral. The handle's not perfectly straight on this one. Okay, I'm still doing adjustments on it. I'm just not happy. It doesn't feel good. Okay, and these are supposed to be, like I said, that one and that one is supposed to be level, and this is supposed to be up and down. Once again, just like the other mill, you have, now this one, see, is put on a little bit different. These things are broke all over the place, and I got a bunch. We're about to go up to see a bunch of broken ones, and the reason being, this one here, I have a 20-inch magic number, and 23 inches from here to here will crush this. But the other one was in a whole different position. Each mill is a little bit different, but they're basically the same. I guess maybe there was a left hand, right hand. I don't know. But you can see how that works. Oh, did I show you the play in that one is what I didn't like? I don't think I did. Because you have to make a... See that play when it goes up? I don't like that. That's just an 1/8 of an inch there is about 4 inches up here. That's too much for me. I don't like... When I hit the handle, I don't like that much play in it. I like it to be very responsive. So I'll fix it when I get around to it. I'm not going to fix it today. But part of the problem is the size of your belts and the length of your belts. You might not get everything exactly where you want it or exactly where it's supposed to be. But as long as it's working and you're happy with it, that's good. Now we're going up. I got the grass cut here today. I wanted to put this video on last night, but we went to a 50th reunion party for my wife's graduation, and that was a very nice thing, and a lot of nice people. They had it at a venue down in Olney, just I guess east of Olney on 108, I think it was. I think it's the Lone Oak or the Big Oak or something like that. Just awfully nice people and stuff like that down there. All right, here we are at the area of destruction. I got the old tripod because I can take it out and put it in. And I'm going to show you some of the stuff and how I do it. This is one of these, and see how, I don't know if it'll show up how rough the cast is. This is the original Frick thing. It's got slots in it so you can move it up and down to move this into a straight up and down thing. This one here is broke. You can see it's been welded in that area right there. They're always broke. Here's another one broke. You can see that. And see how rough the casting is? Now if you got it right, now I don't know if I can get the camera right. That's kind of how this thing's supposed to fit. Let me see if I can get the camera. That's about how that thing's supposed to fit. So it goes up and goes down as you move the handle. Okay? And tip it over. Here's another one. Okay? And it fits. You can see it fits pretty nice, but there's so much friction there to pull it off that I guess it doesn't always flop back into neutral very good. And here you can see casting all over the place. It looks like this thing, I don't know where it was riding, because you have, this is lower and this is lower. Okay, so it's like, it's just weird, but that's maybe what gets them when they cock up and down. Here's a broken piece. Here's one that I'm kind of showing you what I do with them. And what I do, I take them off and put them in a little vise like that. And then I got to move my chair. Hold on, I'm gonna put you on the tripod for a minute. And we are working on that one right there. Move my chair, move my airline here. I think that's out of the way. And this is what I do. I take the piece out. I gotta find my safety goggles. Oh crap, I don't know where they are. I had them here a minute ago. Oh, I see them. I'll be back in a second, guys. Like I said, bear with me on this one. I'm doing the best I can. And this is really kind of directed for anybody with a frick mill. I don't know how other mills are set up. But I take this piece here, and the round piece of stock, that's all this is round piece of stock. And this one here happens to be wherever my micrometer went, halfway micrometer. This is one that does it in inches. Okay, this is a little less than 1/8 of an inch. Little less than 1 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so I just got an old die grinder. They come in various things, you all know about that. And just get it to where it's about the same. It's pretty close, I think. It's a little bit large, so I probably should have a smaller one on there, but I put it on the drill to show you. When I originally did it, that was the method, and didn't even have battery drills back then. And you have different sizes, so you're going to run this up and down there till you get the size that you want. Now I just happen to have a die grinder. Now I've had this longer than I've had the sawmill. And get it to where it goes in and it's happy. You want a happy pappy thing. And then I got a piece of, I guess, are you up there? Let me let you down a little bit and tilt you down a little bit. This tripod just isn't quite as nice as that new one I got, but I couldn't take it around as a selfie stick. Now what I do is drill a 3/8 hole through it. You can drill any size hole through you want it. And this is just a piece of, I think it's 2 inch, maybe 2 inch inside. It's 2 1/8 inside, so it's probably 2 1/2 on the outside. It comes in different sizes. This is bar stock. It was something I found around. Now I'm better now than I was before. It was cut it with a hacksaw or cut it with, they didn't have those whiz wheels back then. But I've had the hacksaw for a long time, or the band mill, the little one in the back. So I cut that off, but now I have the ability to mill that flat. Here's another one. These have a little ridge in there. Okay, so what you got to do is you got to get your bolt like this in here with a square head on it. I guess you really wouldn't need a square head, but I did that. I also grounded this down square to get that closer there, so that, because you're putting that in there, so you got to have a gap, and the gap turns out good because the sawdust seems to fall through there more, which I tried to show you the gap on one of those. So you're going to have to drill a hole and then make it square. You probably don't need to. In fact, I know you don't really need to. But you might want to put that in a drill press and ground it round, or the bolt head was just too big. That's why I didn't do it. I mean, the bolt head would be something like that, and that just, if you look at it, that's just extremely far away, where once you have this, you're going to cut this off anyway. Wait a second. See how much flatter that is? So it's just, that's why I did that. But now I get, as I look back on it, I guess if you have a lock nut here and you made that round, there'd be no way to hold that to tighten it. Come up with your own decision on that. When I cut these, okay, you have to cut it with a radius on there. So put your piece on there and just mark it and cut and grind and cut and grind. I don't have a marker handy, but you guys know what I'm talking about. You're going to cut this off so it's just a U section. So once your bolt's in, once you're there, I would cut it shy of this or short of that. So this stays proud is what they call that. And cut the piece, I guess I'm not showing you in there. Cut this, there's where you're going to drill your hole, somewhere in this vicinity. So this sticks up past that there. You guys got that? Now leaving this loose lets this thing pivot. See, now you're going to cut this off here, grind the, you know, cut it, put a radius on it, put a radius on it, put a radius on it. If I had a marker, you could, you know, mark it like that, and it'd be fine. Then you'd have that in, and there's your piece. The I showed you the original. The original, that's what they had. That's really about the size of it, and it goes in, and once it goes in, now you could smooth this out. There's real high spots here, and grind that off smooth so it just rolls, but it's gonna roll a little bit like that, a little bit. That's why I had it be able to, I don't know what they call it, caster maybe. But that's basically it, and that's what we've put on several mills. Now another thing you could use, the original one was just a piece of pipe here. I think I found a smaller piece of pipe to put in it and got it down to where it would work. It looks like I drilled the nuts and put cotter pins in it, which is, you know, you can buy Castle nuts at the hardware store for probably 50 cents a piece, maybe $1. If you don't have any round stock, you know, you could probably get a bunch of bearings, 3/8 inside diameter, 1 1/8, or whatever size you choose on the outside diameter. Put maybe, I don't know, I think that's about, well, it's got to be about 2 inches. Yeah, it's 2 inches, so you'd need, if they're 1/4 inch, you can put a row of roller bearings across there. And then instead of this piece here, you'd have the roller bearings across there. Might work. There's all different ways you can come up with it, depending on what you have and what you like, and adjustment the way you like it and the tension you like it. The biggest problem that I see now on this spring here is the original spring, and if you have that, you could turn it around. I wouldn't change this, but I put another spring on it, and it just happened to be the right width, as it was a Jeep spring, because freaking Jeep, you know, I got Jeep stuff around here. So that's what I use. So that's just square stock like you find on a trailer hitch, I think, or maybe a receiver. This is just happens to be some stuff I had laying around. It was something. All this stuff was stuff that I dug up and scrounged here and scrounged there. Like I said, you could file that down. I could do that, but that would just make noise and wouldn't be that good to me. So I don't know, put down what you think if you ever seen anything like this, and maybe this would help you out, because like I said, everybody in the world I see that's got frick mills, very seldom do they go back to neutral. Oh, another thing that I missed on the mill, I guess I should turn you around so you're seeing me. I don't know why I put my goggles on. Oh, I ground that a little bit. I'll put you on this, who knows where, I'll just put you here and see if I can be in it. This is a pretty shaky thing. On your mill, once you have it adjusted, you know, like I said, your adjustment, your handle is supposed to be straight up and down, and the two wheels that go like this that feed and don't feed the carriage or make it go forward and go back are supposed to be level when it's in neutral. Depending on, your belt might have stretched and you have to change it. There are adjustments on each individual belt, so you can change that if you choose. That's strictly choice. This is strictly choice. But one thing that I do have, somebody mentioned on the back mill, little mill, I don't think I have one on the front mill, because I got a ball bat back there. I'm sure you've seen it. If you have a little mill like a double-aught mill, what I can do is take that ball bat and put it through where those two belt feeds are, and it will lock the carriage so it can't move forward or back. Kind of recommend that if you're walking over the carriage, but a lot of time I don't even do it. I don't walk over my carriage too much on the little mill. I do more on the big mill because I have the ability to do that. But it's preference. A lot of times I'll just go back there and my mind won't be in the safety mode to put that ball bat in there, and you all know that my mind doesn't do safety too well. So I guess that's about a wrap. If you got any questions, or if I can help you, You can email me at frickinjeep@hotmail.com. I'm frickin' Jeep everywhere, and I'll try to help you out. My computer's so old, a lot of people, I don't get their emails. I don't sell these parts. I don't make them to sell the parts. It's just something you gotta kind of hobble together. And chances are, if you have a sawmill, you've done a lot of hobbling the stuff together. And maybe this is something that will help you out. You could probably, I'm sure that this is spring steel. I'm sure that you could probably put a flat piece of steel in there and have this push against the flat piece of steel. And that flat piece of steel, you know, may have a little bit of spring to it. Go to a junkyard, get a spring of whatever. Go to a spring shop if you can't find a spring anywhere, and tell them you need an old piece of a broken spring, real lightweight. You know, I think those springs back there off the Jeep are only about 1/4 inch. The drilling the hole through the Jeep spring, you might go through a couple drill bits on that. Just what it is. The hole that you have to put in here, I made mine square. I guess you wouldn't have to make that square, so you could tighten that up, because that nut doesn't have to be tight. But then after you get it to a certain point where it's just right, you'll know what to feel it. Drill a hole through the nut and through the bolt itself, and pin it. Then you wouldn't really need to cut this hole round. Don't forget, when you cut it, cut the welded seam inside off so it's smooth all around. You don't have to, but it would just probably be a nicer thing to do. It would sure fit better. I can't think of anything else I've missed. I hope a lot of the people that watch me for sawing aren't totally bored. I hope a lot of the people that watch just to see the sawmill watch it and go, that might be a good idea. So leave a comment down if you like this upgrade, fix, change of design. I don't know what you want to call it, and I don't know how I'm going to title it to get everybody to watch it that has a Frick sawmill, but I hope you're here, and this might also work on other sawmills. So I will put this on. I think I'll go put it on right now. It's a beautiful Sunday day, and I was supposed to put this on last night, so I'll put this on now, and after dinner I'll start answering some comments. If you have any questions or need any further assistance, that's what YouTube to me is all about, is helping people with problems with Frick mills and other mills and that kind of stuff. So thank you for being here. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and I do have another log on the sawmill that we're going to be sawing pretty soon. Bye bye now.